So for one of our final topics before we go, I want to see if we can't try to spin something to the positive, because I owe that to the faithful as someone who prides himself on attempting to be optimistic, on
You are.
believing that I'm happier as an individual when I see the world as a glass half full. I am a better person when I assume positive intent from everyone I meet, as opposed to thinking that they have their own agenda, right? If I assume positive, my life is better. I'm having a hard time with that with the San Francisco 49ers right now. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
It is challenging that belief that I hold in my core. Is there any reasons for optimism, or is the season over? Pack your bags. Don't bother watching any freaking games from this point on, because many 49er fans are circling that drain and feeling that way, that it's like, I'm shutting this off, and I can't blame them. I do not blame them. I get the frustration with this team. That said, is the season really over, or are there things that 49ers fans should still be watching for?
Um, I'll be honest with you. Personally, I think the season is done. Honestly, I'll be
Yeah.
honest. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just if you had a gun to my head right now and you asked me, I would say yes. But I do. One thing of optimism that would give me some optimism is let's see some of these rookies that we got, man.
Right.
Give me something. Let me see Aaron Banks. Let's see if he's gotten a little better since, off season. Yeah, he looked like he was a little, big and slow and not in shape coming into camp. That's just the idea that I got from him. Maybe let's see what we got with him. Let's see what we got with Trey Sermon. Use him on a regular basis. I know you have Jeff Wilson Jr. back, but you don't want to run him into the ground after being out for so long. Put Deommodore Lenoir and Ambry Thomas in there, man. Like, why not? I mean, at a certain point, you're going to have to see what you have. And why not do it if this season, quote unquote, becomes a lost season? You want to at least say, oh, man, we got a corner. We got a really good guard. Maybe we even have something in Jalen. Is it Jalen Moore?
Yeah.
The tackle?
It is Jalen Moore.
I want to see him too. I would like to see him too. He did well a couple weeks ago when he played.
Yeah, it seems that we'll get a chance to see him start at right tackle. Shanahan indicated as much today, which is positive.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to struggle because he's been a left tackle, I guess, his whole career. But,
right.
I mean, give me something to latch onto, and then maybe, mix that with a decent free agency haul if you let Garoppolo go.
Mm-hmm.
And, hit some late round picks again next year. And then, maybe I'll buy in again and I'll drink the Kool-Aid like I always do. My nephew has gotten weight because he's a big diehard Niners fan like me, but he hasn't really talked to me much about the Niners this year. He is a kind of show me kind of person. He's a show me person. And he doesn't allow his heart to get attached because of how they've been for the majority of his life since, he's been able to follow football. He was born in 95, but his memories of football have probably been, I'd say, the last 13 years or so. So I understand why he is the way he is. I've kind of seen some other things, so I'm a little more optimistic, but I'd probably be the first off season that I'm going to go into where I'm going to have zero expectations and just let the cards fall where they may and let things just kind of organically happen. But yeah, let's see some rookies. Give me some hope going into next year. That'll give me some optimism personally. And do something, shake something up in the front office if we have a bad season. Give me the idea that you recognize what's going on and you're doing whatever it takes to make it better. Staying the same is not going to do it. I'm sorry. You can't go into next year, doing everything exactly the way you've done it the last previous 4 years. You have to do something different if John and Kyle both end up staying here.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think that a lot of 49ers fans are going to feel the same way that you just described there. For me, no, the season ain't over. For many different reasons, fans should still continue to tune in. I admit that it looks bleak and that the chances of it being a relevant season are still next to nil, right? Very few opportunities for the San Francisco 49ers to remain relevant this season, but could being embarrassed be a good thing? Is that the wake-up call that the Niners players needed? Right? Previously, they could legitimately say that they could have won the other games. This was a shellacking. There was no question about being beat. This was an embarrassment. There's no way to hide from the loss. And my question becomes, is that a good thing? That the reasons for optimism remain, this could humble Kyle Shanahan while he's still the 49ers coach. That's my fear, is that he gets fired as the 49ers coach this offseason, next offseason, and then figures out, I need to keep my ego in check a bit, and does that and becomes a great head coach. He has a long leash here because of his contract extension. So my hope is there's enough leash for him to come to that realization, because he clearly has terminal character defects as a head coach. The question becomes, can he look in the mirror, acknowledge them, and address them? I'm still liking the humility that I'm now seeing from Shanahan at the pressers compared to earlier this season. It's not perfect, but it's better. Just today, his quote was, "Failure of execution starts with me. So when players don't work, no matter how it happens, it starts with the coaches. There's tons of things that I can do better." That humble pie that clearly he has eaten a slice of, if only a sliver, could be exactly what's needed for the future success of this team. Get Shanny's ego out of the way. And for me, the last bit of reasons to watch is what you touched on. If for no other reason of tuning in, if you think that the path to the playoffs, while the 49ers remain only one game out of the 7th seed there, is just unquestionably difficult, and there's no way that they can become the best of the mediocre teams that are going to be vying for that, you have to watch for the future. You have to watch to see what those young players can put on tape, because this team is highly dependent upon some players we have very little idea about at this point. So to me, that continues the excitement, and I think you were spot on about nailing that.